Hey guys, it's Katie Fox. I just wanted to do a slightly more uplifting and more in my character kind of video. This is Robert. He's gonna sleep there probably most of the time, but that's what he does. So, I just wanted to quickly review Arkham Knight because I just finally completed it. It took some time because I got a little bit sidetracked by Elder Scrolls Online, but I did finally get it done. Um, and and although I had some mixed feelings at the very beginning, I did come to change my mind. Now this is going to be a I'll do a non-spoiler review for the first minute or so. After that, I will be delving into spoilers, but I will give you plenty of warning, and you can click away if you haven't played it yet. Alright, so, non-spoilers. I've loved the series. I loved Arkham Asylum. I loved Arkham City. I was a little bit torn on Arkham Origins just because it wasn't Rocksteady, but I did like it. I just didn't love it quite as much. The only thing that made up for it was A Cold Cold Heart, I think that's what it was called, with Mr. Freeze, Victor Freeze, and Nora, and that whole situation. I have a huge soft spot for Victor Freeze, so that was great for me. I just didn't quite love the game as much as the previous two, and I don't know. I know that a lot of other people loved it as well. My fiance liked it the best, oddly enough. So, no hate, but I have been playing the series since close to the beginning, and I love them. I think that they've revolutionized. It's too late at night. Video games in general, everyone is going for how can we make this into a Batman game, either in terms of combat or basically anything, because it was such a successful, seamless, incredible Batman series, and I think that it captured the spirit of Gotham, of Batman, of the Rogues Gallery, of the Robins, of Nightwing, Oracle, Jim Gordon, and everyone else. So I thought it was an incredible series, and I thought that this was an incredible end. So if you have played the other games, you don't necessarily have to play Arkham Origins if you don't want to, but if you have played Arkham Asylum and most definitely Arkham City, I suggest picking this up as soon as you're able to, because it is a beautiful ending to an incredible trilogy that has changed video games forever. So that's my spoiler-free warning. I did have some mixed feelings on it at the very beginning, but once you get used to it, once you see what's done, I do think that the cons basically disappear because there are so many pros to the game. So yeah, pick it up if you haven't already. I really do recommend it, and you should give it a try. So now here comes the spoiler stuff, where I'm going to address some of my issues with the game, and yeah, so click away if you haven't played it yet. And go. Okay, so spoiler review would have to be, I was very torn on the Batmobile situation. I was really excited when it was announced that it was going to be part of the game, because it's such an iconic piece of Batman's, legacy and history and tools. So I really looked forward to being able to play and drive in the Batmobile, especially because they said that it was going to be such an open world game, and that the only way that you would ever be able to get to places was with the Batmobile. My only issue is that although I love to see the Batmobile and I love that it was an option, I had a real big issue with the random tank battles, just because I thought that they were so out of place and so not in keeping with the previous games. I know that other people didn't mind them as much and thought that they were a neat add-on feature kind of thing, but it just wasn't so much for me. I'm not so much into the tank situation, but in the end, I mean, it was neat how you could climb walls basically using the Batmobile, and then it could shoot open walls for you and things like that. So all in all, it wasn't a a terrible idea. I just wish that it was more of an option, just because the best part for me about the Arkham series was being able to fly as Batman and really experience that, jumping from building to building and stumbling across new villains and Easter eggs and things like that. So I did miss that aspect of it. I know that you can technically fly around, so I know that people are going to give me hell for whining, but still, it just felt kind of out of place. But if it had been dealt just a smidge differently, it would have been a great addition to the game. And again, I do see some plus sides to having it in there as well. So that was kind of the first drawback. I guess my only other complaint, and again, spoilers, was that the Arkham Knight, which was this hugely build-up thing, and who was he, and we weren't supposed to know. It was my first guess. It was Jason Todd. That was what I guessed it would be. So for me, when that was revealed, I was not at all surprised. I thought it made perfect sense. And so there was no shock factor in it for me. I guess the only kind of high point in that way was that I loved Jason Todd, and I thought it was completely fitting with the game. And I especially loved how they explored the themes of all of the negative things that happened due to Batman's existence, such as, Barbara Gordon's tragic incident where she is now Oracle rather than Batgirl, and that they touched on that they touched on the Killing Joke, which apparently there's going to be an animated movie coming out really soon. Really interested to see how they pull that off, because it's an incredibly dark story. I remember reading through it and just being like the whole time. So it's going to be really interesting to see it come to life in a way that is not in such a niche category, because comic books, again, are not for everyone, whereas animated Batman movies do quite well. So I'm interested to see what kind of happens there. But again, very excited, and I'm very excited that they brought that into the game, as dark as it was, and that they really explored every aspect of it. I love that Joker was around and all the time, and playing up with Batman because he was also infected, and I found that to be very interesting, because the opening song, "I've Got You Under My Skin," and I think that stands for more than just one kind of take on that. I think that they would almost be lost without each other, and that they need each other, and it's really the battle of good and evil. So I thought that was a neat touch on things as well. I really loved Nightwing, and I loved Tim Drake coming in as well. I loved the Robins. I hate that they get flack and hatred for being Robins because it's somehow gay. I don't think that people maybe realize the fact that he picked up orphans quite like himself and trained them to become self-sufficient and powerful and strong, and gave them their strength back, and also provided them with a home and with a father figure and everything. So I don't understand how that's gay, and I don't understand how that would be a problem even if it was. I think that there's some closed-minded folks out there. But for the record, I would sleep with Nightwing no problem, and Jason Todd. So just saying, mainly Batman, but I hate that there's this association with the Joker, with the Robins, where they're, it's creepy, and that there's some type of gay innuendo there that doesn't exist. I find that the rising star about the game was definitely Oracle. I cannot believe the shit that she went through in this game. It was absolutely insane and so empowering for a female character, especially one that has been, pinned in a wheelchair due to horrific events in the past. And I just thought it was so empowering, not only for women, but for women with disabilities. I think that she almost rose above Batman, because without her, he wouldn't have had any of the intel that he needed in order to succeed. So I think that this game, other than belonging to Batman and his final farewell and his and his buddies and his rogues gallery and everything like that. I really believe that it belonged to Oracle as well as Jim Gordon, and I was very touched by the moment where he was in an elevator right before he was going to go get Barbara from Scarecrow, and he said, "You and I, we would do anything for our family," or some type of, something very similar, but perhaps in different words. And I was really touched by that. I almost cried, because I think that's what people forget about. It's not just Batman going around and beating thugs. It's just so much deeper, and it's so much more poetic and beautiful that someone who tragically witnessed their parents' death has now decided that he wants to be good and wants to prevent people from ever having to experience the tragedy that he did experience. And I think, again, that kind of follows into the whole Robin situation as well. And I just think that's such a beautiful message, that he would do anything for his deceased parents, and I think that's why he remains such a powerful staple, because he really is one of the best heroes of all time. And anyone that doesn't seem to appreciate him for what he does, especially what he does for his family and the family legacy, I just think it's a shame that they're missing out on such a powerful, moving story, because it really is. I know it seems silly to talk about it that way because it's just Batman, but it's so much more than that, and it's so much more than that to so many different people. So I just thought that moment was absolutely fantastic. Finally, again, the Joker thing was very interesting, that he was following you around, and again, the kind of the duality about the whole thing is that rather than becoming this monster, Bruce decided, I never want this to happen to anyone else. I want to avenge my parents, and I want to protect the innocent from those who would harm them. And it deals with the duality of that versus the nature of the Joker, who has decided that something bad happened to him. If we're following the Killing Joke timeline and story, I'm not entirely sure, but if we do follow that, he let tragedy change him into being someone bad, and I think that Batman could have gone that way, and I think that's why they need each other, and why they're so dependent upon each other, and why the relationship is as complicated as it is. So yeah, I did have some faults with it at the very beginning, but in time, the story was just so moving and so beautiful, and it really finished off one of the most powerful trilogies of all time, and I am so glad that I got to experience it, and I just think that it is, just one of the most important games in history, and I think that the entire series is as well. So I loved it. I thought that it had a lot of really interesting twists. I like that you can't stream the twist portions of the story. I kind of started to blab there, so I'm sorry if it cut off. I just wanted to say it is absolutely a game that you should pick up if you haven't already. If you have played it, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I'm so sorry that I haven't been around very often. I will do my best to be around more often now that I have spare time, and now that I know that I should do the things that I enjoy. So thank you so much for watching. Again, comment down below your thoughts on Arkham Knight, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.